One good thing about doing these is I drink so much water, and I never drink any water. Is there garbage in here? You guys got to see it, huh?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Bluntly honest, anyone?
It's good. I mean,
Good. Cool.
Sequels are
I
coming.
hope so, man. I hope so.
So speaking of drinking water, we were
Yeah.
just talking with Lynn about the desert and how
Yeah.
things were a little bit different in the desert than they were, you know, in the sound stages in London.
Yeah,
So can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, no offense to the sound stages, but you get sick of them. It's so, you don't even know what time of day or anything like that. And anytime you can work in a live setting, it just brings a lot more energy, and you can react to so many different things, right? So I loved working outside. I mean, the windstorms were quite intense, but 70, 80 mile an hour windstorms kind of stopped the whole production for as long as they wanted to, stop. But I love being outside and doing that kind of stuff. It was just, no pun intended, but a breath of fresh air.
I don't know what's a little bit like what it's like to play the title character in a movie like this, see your picture everywhere. I mean, coming from.
I love it. My ego loves it. It's great, man. I think it's just there's a huge struggle at the beginning of my career, so it's and who's to say where it goes? But I think too, it's just the work you put in. At the end of the day, it's not. I'm not going to be looking back and being like, hey, I had a billboard on whatever, it's the work that I put in, and that's what I'm most proud of, for sure.
yeah. If you had that strength and agility in real life, what's the first thing you do with it?
Probably what John does, just enjoy the process. And, I love that scene where he learns to jump, by the way. That was a lot of fun to do. We were in a dry lake bed in the middle of nowhere, living on Stanton, Willem for some of the days, and myself were living in trailers on that lake bed. So it was kind of a mind fuck, because you wake up and go to sleep on set, which is like there's no escaping it. And I got lots of good stories about it. But and we had these two cranes that were like 200 plus feet apart, and I'm in the middle of them hooked up onto a wire. And you're literally jumping 60, 80 feet. And it was fun. I had a lot of fun that day.
Any injuries there yet?
I started with a high ankle sprain that never really healed. But, it's funny because you don't get the scope of one of these jumps where he jumps over Tar's Tarkus when he meets him to get the weapons. But I was well over 200 feet up in the air. And that was interesting to me. Because it was the ground, and then we're shooting up on this mountaintop or this, huge boulder. And so I'm up on the top, and then I go another 100 plus feet or 80 feet. And then you're just sitting there up in the air at the end mark, just floating, while they're checking the replay, right? And you're just waiting, testing fate, basically. So that was a trip. But for the most part, I lucked out. I suffered from exhaustion, but that wasn't really an injury. But a couple little things that you getting cut up on like other people's armor and stuff quite well. And then like my arm got numb in this one stunt with Woola, because he's not there, and I had to throw myself on the ground as he jumped on me. And my arm just went numb for an hour, so we're like fucking waiting for this arm to do its thing. I'm like, still no, we still can't go. So little things like that were kind of bizarre, but I was quite lucky.
We just found out Lynn's a sword master. Did she cut you up at all?
Is that what she's telling you?
She's like a Japanese martial artist.
That's news to me. No, she was awesome. She really was. And I just loved how the two characters fight so differently as well. John's so raw, and she was a sword master, apparently. Yeah.
I wanted to ask her this too, but I'll ask you. Do you feel bad at all stealing Wolverine's girl?
Not at all. Not for
Hugh
one
Jackman
second.
isn't pissed, eh?
No, Hugh's probably more proud of me than anything, I'm
That's
sure.
good.
We're very close, so. He's been a big influence on me.
Everybody likes him.
He's a hard guy. Now, if you don't, there's something wrong with you. That guy's an enigma, man. He really is. In or out of the business, if you meet a guy like that, you do what you can to stay around a guy like him.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is the costume comfortable? It looks sort of.
No.
awkward.
Does
Yeah,
it
like-
look comfortable?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. But you can wear it for.
It is funny though, and I love this is really a Stanton thing. How smart and quite genius he is with it all. But he, where John is emotionally is where he is aesthetically. So it's a great thing, and I think I have 15 different looks, you know, which was cool. I loved the end wardrobe as well, where it's like he's got the great white ape fur and he's like the jet and all that kind of stuff. That was cool to play, and I think that boyhood kind of imagination where you can have these swords all over you and these not. It was fun, you know. It helps so much. But no, it wasn't. The leather shit was terrible. Like the tie up here, not fun, man.
The early scene where you're still in the Old West.
Yeah.
Was that Monument Valley?
Sorry?
Was that Monument Valley, or was it?
I don't know for sure. We were in what scene exactly are you talking about?
When you're out racing the cavalry.
That was Moab.
That was Moab.
Moab.
Okay.
I love that stuff.
One thing is cool. That's one of the things that is cool about the film is that you cross over from the Old West to the space age, and it's
To
still,
old New York as well.
Right, but in both cases, you're still filming in southern Utah.
Yeah. Or
What
London.
was the experience? What was the experience filming down there?
I loved it. Like I said, being outside, being on these horses. I mean, I cannot wait to do a Western. And ask Stanton how many times I pitch him to write a Western. Ask him that one. He'll love that. Last night, I was telling him, if we do a sequel, ask him. Last night, we're just big fans of one another, but last night I was like, if we do another one, I just love playing the Civil War stuff so much that, and that jaded part of it, of who John was. But I was like, man, maybe in the second one we can do a whole flashback of me in the Civil War, like half the movie. Then all of a sudden I wake up, and I love that part of John, you know that. And I really do think it would be cool to see him how he was as a soldier, you know, that leader that he was, and what Powell is saying. He's like 4-time this, you know, the medal of that, and I'd love to see him do that, but he'll just roll his eyes.
Is Carter's redemption in part because he's fighting on what we now consider the wrong side of that war?
I don't even think it was that, and at all really. And that's an argument you could have with so many people. Because I did sit down with historians, and I sat down and really immersed myself with the Civil War. And read God knows how many letters of these guys, these soldiers, that they would write back home. That's how I prepped. But it was more... No, man, I think that's where John Carter comes from, you know, of a guy of just the simple part of what honor means to someone, and how we, modern day may have lost a bit of that. Yeah.
I feel like the movie John Carter has more of a character arc even than the book John Carter does.
Absolutely it does.
Yeah, and I wonder if you guys worked on that together.
I think that stance, I think too in the book he wakes up, knows he's on Mars. Pretty bizarre. Don't really explain how he gets up there, and how Stanton did it in the film was quite brilliant. Of just by chance, truly, wrong place, wrong time at the time. So I think that was pretty cool. And there's so many little odes to the book as well, with the Tharp babies, and of course Tars and Woola, who probably stole the film for some of you. Yeah. Yes, but I knew it right. I mean, Woola's so great, and I think A Man and His Dog, that little story, and how you see different parts of John with his dog. At the end, too, the little things where it's like post-honeymoon, where it's just those little things. He has that scene with Woola where he throws the medallion. That was cool. I mean, it's like, you just know it's going to be cool with those guys doing what they do with animation. Yeah.
What was it like when you filmed, when you emerged out of the white ape, like reborn? What did you shoot? Like what kind of
Oh man,
crap was on it? Was it
Oh yeah, it was blue. It was like this. We did tests for it too. This blue, I don't even know, a concoction of everything. What Bill Corso was doing, and I do tip my hat to Bill Corso. He's so good, and he's with me on Savages, and he hopefully the rest of my career he's going to be with me. He's so good. Yeah, it was. I mean, that was a 6-day shoot. It was awesome because we were outside in Utah, and they built half that stadium. So I mean, they brought in sand, and I mean, that was just helped me so much to react to nothing. You know, it was tough for me to do a speech like that to nothing. You know, that was probably one of the tougher things for me to do. You know, just finding that energy and trying to connect to nothing, you're looking up at clouds, is tough. You know, so, but yeah, I mean, they cut out a part where he comes out of the ape and just has this like visceral, intense scream of like, that's truly. But I understand now because he ends that speech with a rally scream for them to come with him. So it would have been just too much bravado there. It would have been just too much. Yeah. But that was such a great moment for me, and that definitely was. I mean, I flew in one of my best friends just to come and be a part of that and watch, and he loved it. He's another actor, and just to have him there, and it was just fun to do, you know, because the stakes are so high. And it was, you know, it was a lot of fun to do that scene, knowing what they're going to do with it in post. Yeah.
Being shirtless through most of the movie, did you feel throughout filming like pressure?
Took you guys long enough to get to this question. Usually it's the first and last one. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all right. Did you feel pressure to not have that last beer or whatever?
Oh, I mean, I wish that was part of my diet. I could have a beer. You know, it was the most boring diet you could ever imagine. I was on it for 11 months. So I had about enough after to make up for it, put it that way. But it was just an incredibly disciplined regimen, you know, that it's funny because I think people expect me to look that way at all times, and which is flattering in a way, but it's very unreal as well.
Go on, take your shirt off.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, it was, I mean, it's part of it, so it'd be stupid of me to be, you know, show up on the first day of set and be like, hey, can I wear a shirt in this scene? And I'm just not. So you get over it quick, and the less of a deal I make of it is hopefully less of a deal everyone else does too. We don't make it a big deal in the film, and it's for that reason.
Was it a struggle to, you know, go from that and then, you know, go away for a while while they made the movie, a lot of it, and then come back to like some reshoots and stuff? To, like,
yeah. Fuck yeah. I don't know what I was doing. I'm sure I was working on something. But yeah, like I said, man, I don't walk around that way. So it was, you know, 4 a.m. workouts every day. 4:33 was my alarm. And 6-day weeks, and you're working out 4:33 to 5:30, get to set at 8, and then you're working out all day, and you get to bed at 10, you wake up at 4:33, do it again. 6-day weeks that way. Like I truly and literally suffered from exhaustion. So, yeah, it wasn't fun, you know, but it's worth it at the end of the day, man. When you see it, I mean, this movie's forever, so you see it, and it's like, you know, hopefully you raise the bar too. Yeah.
It crosses so many genres.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially as an actor. One day I'm throwing a beard and you know, you're in Old West in this old broken down western town riding horses. And the next, you know, you're on wires on a dry lake bed learning to jump.
I've always wondered though why they still fight with swords when they've also got guns.
Well, I think it'd be a very boring movie if they just stood there shooting everyone. And I do, it was a very conscious thing too, the way, it was funny because when I got to London, I was training in Austin, Texas while I was doing FNL for sword work, and they wanted me to be very, like, kind of beautiful swords, fencing, and I wouldn't have it. And so I got to London and changed the whole thing on my own of just like, he's very raw, the way he fights. And I think that was very necessary for so many reasons.
That middle fight scene was probably the best.
What was that one?
Where you had the flashbacks with your wife. And
oh, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's who John is right there, really. The demons inside him, you know. the guilt that he carries all the way to that point. I love that scene. Yeah, that was I mean, picture you're in the middle of, I think we're in Utah, and obviously there's no war wound, so you're just emotionally fighting air. But it worked, you know. Yeah.
What point in the process did did you finally see something where the movie sort of lived up to Stanton's vision? Like, because you see it now, and it's like, you know, it's how much it cost and how long it took. At what point in the process did you finally say, "Oh my God, I'm in a movie that's this big"?
Good question. The sets were pretty remarkable. That kind of stuff was big. I think shooting out in the live setting and seeing what they did, you know, the Thark encampment and all that kind of stuff. I still get a kick out of it, of what they really do, and how they built these sets. I mean, it helped me immensely. You know, that was probably the biggest thing. Yeah, I mean, bringing cranes out and being tied up to these cranes in the middle of nowhere, I mean, it's no indie film, you know?
So you've been Gambit and you've been John Carter. Are there any other heroes that you just really want to be?
Sean was quite fun in Savages. Different type of hero, but no. I mean, I never set out to be any of these guys, and that's not how I picked my role. So it's, I don't know. It's all about who you're working with and the character you're portraying, and if there's, you know, substance to that. So, and being better at the end of the day for doing the gig. So I do it all over again. Yeah, I don't be like, I'm not on the team on the phone with my team going, okay, go through Marvel comic books, let's pick out another guy.
Why not?
Yeah.
There's a few left.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not for me though. I'm done with it.
You're not going to do it if they want you to play Gambit again?
I don't think so. We'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, my plate's so full, and I'm excited to go gritty again. And hopefully we'll see what happens with this next job if I get it, but be fucking gritty, man.
So have another question or so, and then we need to move on.
What was it like working with Andy Stanton?
Terrible. I hate it. No, I mean, I got to see him again last night, and I haven't seen him again. I just, you know, I hit him up, and I'm just like, man, it's so good to be with the family again. And that's what it is. It really is to go back to that. It has an independent set feel. Like there's no egos, none. And everyone is on the same page for the potential of the film and not for the potential of themselves. And I think he sets the bar with that. He's awesome. Yeah, really.
All right, thank you all.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks, guys.